arbitrary champions, unintelligible lore that will take the rest of your life to figure out, and pretending you have a microphone. Now that's what I call wrestling. Hey there, sports fans. My name is Kit Parsons, better known as professional wrestler Magnum CK, and this is Now That's What I Call Wrestling, the good, bad wrestling show. We don't have an actual official motto because I just kind of make all this up every time. That probably best explains what we're doing here. We should probably talk about a couple things right off the top. If you notice in the sequence of these episodes, if you're following along week to week, because we are chronicling something historical here. So if you're watching along week to week and you're seeing numbers missing, that's because once a month I have an episode that is exclusive on the Absolute Intense Wrestling Patreon, and we're just skipping over it here. So you're going to have to go there if you want to see that one. I'll try to catch you up as we go, but go check it out. And obviously I'm biased because I work there as a wrestler, but when I'm not watching Absolute Intense Wrestling, I don't have time for good wrestling in my life. That's the only good wrestling I consume. In my personal downtime, when I'm sitting back to watch this stuff with you, we couldn't imagine what this show would be if I put on a good wrestling match. What will we talk about? Hey guys, welcome to Now That's What I Call Wrestling. It's really good. I don't have much to say. I'll just watch it and not say much over it. And then you guys just enjoy it and have a good time and don't have to struggle to figure out what's going on or what happened last week or why it doesn't make sense or who these people even are or why that person in the ring is pretending they have a microphone but they actually don't. We're just going to watch a show where all the technical elements work and all the wrestlers can work and the announcers and commentators just do a really good job presenting it. So depressing, right? But over here, we don't watch good wrestling. We don't watch bad wrestling. We watch good, bad wrestling. There's a difference. And I can try to explain it and waste our time, but we could probably just be a lot better off if we just jump right into it, because you'll taste the difference. In case this is your first time joining us, we are knee deep. This is episode 6. Episode 6. Guys, look at us. Look at us really just doing this thing together. Of our chronicling, our chronicalization of the WWE. And I'm not talking about the big guys up north who have their big time contracts and their $1 million payouts and all this stuff. No. I'm talking about the real WWE. I'm talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma in the mid 1990s. I'm talking about the World Wrestling Empire. That introduction is probably more exciting than the actual show itself, but I can sit here and explain it to you, or we could get ready for a reaction to the action of the World Wrestling Empire.
Gentlemen, please put your hands together and give a reaction to the action of the World Wrestling Empire! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm The Ledge with my co-host, Prince Devlin Blanchard.
Thank you, Ledge.
We need to talk about a couple of things just right off the bat here. It feels like as the show is going on, we've gone through what we have from 1994 that's complete. The show seems to be degrading in quality as we go, which is just a lovely touch. So a good case in point to the degradation of quality is the weird choppiness of the intro. That's kind of new. Also, this ring has seen better days. I mean, the ropes are sagging in the middle. You'll notice throughout the show as people try to bounce off of them, they're not as bouncy as they once were. The ring is really, like much of the talent in the World Wrestling Empire, the ring is starting to droop in the middle.
Tonight, he's taking on Panther. Panther, the Kansas heavyweight champion. Look for a lot of action out of those guys.
And of course, second match of the night, my personal favorite, Eric Awesome will face off against the Tennessee Rebel.
strutting dude. Oh.
Is Awesome Eric the strutting dude? We've only seen one Eric Awesome match. Eric Awesome is not Diamond Dallas Page. He is Cubic Zirconia Page. Self-high 3.5. That's like Ninja Turtle hand. That was hard to do.
Four-time former WWE heavyweight champion Scott Summers takes on the Beast, and that ought to be some no-holds-barred action there going on.
So Scott Summers looks reluctant. Scott Summers looked like that's the picture they would use of Scott Summers if he was getting caught on an episode of Cheaters. And the Beast looks like every 80s movie, like Mongo type character, like frat guy. It's a movie about a college fraternity, and he's like, oh yeah, the Beast, but he's like supposed to be in college, but he's clearly an actor that's like 47.
Of course, to remind all the people there of the past, the Beast against TJ for the title just a short time ago was one of the roughest matches the Beast has ever had.
Beast was the most ill-tempered man in the Empire.
TJ Steele, as we know, was the World Wrestling Empire heavyweight champion, but at this wrestling organization,
we have a rule.
And that rule is if you aren't able to defend your title even once, if anything happens, if you come down with coming out of both ends flu, you forfeit the title. It does not matter. That's the competition of World Wrestling Empire. That's the Shark Tank. So that happened last time. He forfeited the title and they just gave it to the Beast.
This is the Ledge standing here with Predator, and I understand you've got a few words for Shane Cortez.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is new. From Singapore Predator, legendary on this show, very scary man, in my opinion. We've never heard from Singapore Predator speak until now. And I'll promise you this, From Singapore Predator sounds exactly like how he looks like he would sound, and sounds nothing like how you'd think he sound if you hadn't seen him and just heard that his name is From Singapore Predator. That's what I call wrestling guarantee. Self-high 3.5.
That's right. Shane Cortez has ran as long as he can. Now I challenge him to a chain match, and I'm going to mess his pretty face up.
Oh, so you're a little tired of Shane Cortez. Does this have anything to do with his popularity with the fans?
He's got a goody two-shoes image, but he's nothing.
Oh.
Down.
All right, well, Shane Cortez, there you have it. Predator wants you in a dog collar chain match. You'll see that next week on the World Wrestling Empire.
If you've been around the fight game, the real fight game, if you've been out on the streets, if you've been at the Muay Thai club, if you've been out there for real, you know that the guys who look and sound the scariest usually aren't. They aren't the real deal. But it's the guys like this. The short, roundish, slope-shouldered, mulleted, Halloween face painted, elegant mustachioed, elegantly mustachioed. These are the guys to be afraid of. For real. The guys who, when you ask them to do a wrestling promo about what they're going to do to their opponent, look like this is the first they've heard that they'd be speaking this evening. the guys to really be afraid of, okay, in the fight world, in the world of real fighting like we have here, are the guys that when an interviewer confronts them with a microphone and asks them about their upcoming opponent, they look as though they've been dragged out of a nap and propped up in front of the camera with no preparation time and frankly no clue that they were going to speak about anything or anyone in particular. From Singapore Predator is going to have a dog collar chain match for no specific reason. They keep saying that he's apparently been carrying a chain around with him. I've watched more WWE than probably almost anybody. I've never seen him have a chain in my life. I've seen him have a cane. If they wanted to have a dog collar cane match, I'd buy it. But who am I kidding? I'd buy this too. I'd buy all of it. He's adorable.
Look forward to when those two get together here next week on the WWE show. I think Shane Cortez has got a fine chance of defeating Predator in that dog collar chain match.
Well, Predator's the man that carries the chain around with him all the time. And, you know, there's a long history between these two and a lot of bad blood. And in my opinion, Predator is the man with the advantage. He has the one advantage that Cortez does not have, and that is Flamin' Raymond.
Well, we'll see what bad blood gets spilled when those two meet next week. Why don't you tell them about the next match?
Our fearless hosts seem to be like low energy, like much even lower than normal, right? It's like, it feels like everyone got in trouble right before the broadcast and got like a stern talking to, and now it's like, get out there and get on the air, and they're like,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the first match of the evening tonight.
when I was a little kid, my cousin and I would play with our wrestling figures, and we would do loud like matches. Like we would have commentary and we'd yell and scream like professional wrestling, why? Like, right? Like we would do all that stuff. And at nighttime we would get in trouble. So, but we would still be playing with our figures, but we had to be like, oh yeah, like here he comes. He's going off the top. Yeah. Like here we go. Whoa, man. Yeah. 1, 2, no. Like that kind of like wincing type of talk. This is what these guys are doing, like live on the broadcast here, like on the taping. Like they're broadcasting like they're in Ledge's like basement. Like, listen, like the old lady's asleep upstairs, and like I don't want to have to like, I don't want to get divorced over this. So can we just like keep it down? It's very odd, very low energy. Given the technical problems we're about to see in this episode, I feel like this may have been recorded separately or something. Like something's weird about it. The background sound is weird. It doesn't sound like there's an audience there. It sounds like people shuffling around. So I'm wondering if they recorded this separately. I have theories. I have World Wrestling, like all of you, like most of America, I have World Wrestling Empire theories.
Is going to be a newcomer to the World Wrestling Empire, a gentleman by the name of Brett Knight. I don't know a whole lot about him. I know he is a street brawler from Atlanta, Georgia, and he's my kind of guy. I really like the kind of style this man has. He'll be facing off against the Kansas heavyweight champion, a man that people here are quite familiar with, and that is Panther. We'll take it up to the ring for the introductions, The Ledge.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, in our first match for the evening.
Okay, listen. I am so excited to share this with you, because when I saw this, I could not believe what was happening on my television. So, as we know, I'm sorry, I'm so excited. As we know, typically the microphones are set up so that they're going over the live PA, right? We hear them over the live, the audience hears the microphones. But for some reason, because they don't have a ring announcer, Ledge feels it's necessary to get up from his live microphone at the commentary table. Get up from the table and go into the ring and announce the guy. But he doesn't have a microphone. And at first, immediately I was like, what's weird about this? Why does this look weird? And as the camera zoomed out,
Coming out first, standing 6 foot 3 inches tall.
he's not wearing, at first I thought, oh, okay, Dabcom's got a lav mic on him. They've upgraded. Like, wow, this is like next level. He's like, you know, like the Peloton people or whatever, where they're like mic'd up, like group exercise instructors are like mic'd up. We just have a headset on. This is 1995. There weren't like, you know, they had lav mics for sure, but like they were usually more noticeable. No. And then I thought, oh, they have a boom mic. They've got a boom mic, and they kept it out of the shot. That's pretty cool. Or maybe someone's down low with it. No. What they did. Oh my God. This is like, I should have saved this for Christmas. It's my favorite thing. You guys, it's my favorite thing. For whatever reason, they don't have a microphone for him to use. So instead of sitting at his desk where he has a microphone that is working, he gets in the ring. And he's projecting. You can see the way he's tensing his body and taking deep breaths. He's projecting his voice out, but that's not what we're hearing. They put his voice in post. This is ADR. This is a good one. This one's pretty solid. You can see it a little more clearly later. To keep up appearances, because he's a professional. Do you understand Ledge is a professional? Do you know what that means? Do you know what I mean by that? It means doing what you need to do to look like you know what you need to do.
Bingo!
He's yelling in the ring. Oh, I got to watch it again. Hold on.
Weighing in at 240 pounds from Atlanta, Georgia, Brett Knight.
So he's just yelling for the live audience. Because the other thing is you don't hear the crowd very much at all in this show for a good portion of it. So there's some sort of technical problem. And instead of just giving him a dummy mic or something to hold, he just stands there and has this magical voice like a wizard. This is what dreams are made of. And I swear to God, I wish I was kidding.
Of course, the ignorant people sitting around the ring here are not showing the proper respect.
Brett Knight looks like a professional rollerblader. Brett Knight looks like a member of the BK Kids Club who's all grown up. Brett Knight is your older brother's friend who got in trouble for stealing catalytic converters. Brett Knight is curious about how much copper wiring is in your house. No reason.
This guy is a geek. That's all I can tell you about him.
Panther must have borrowed the same Halloween, the Kmart Halloween makeup kit that from Singapore Predator uses.
Panther, don't cut it. Pussycat is more like it. Look at this guy. He looks like a man who got a real bad accident with his mascara.
The Kansas heavyweight title appears to be cut out of styrofoam. Like, it looks like the Kansas heavyweight title looks like somebody bought a bunch of the old style styrofoam Big Mac or Filet-O-Fish boxes, whichever one was the yellow one, and like just flattened them all out and stretched them out, taped them together, and that's what the belt plates are fastened to. Hey, that's better than sending it to a landfill. Instead of sending their styrofoam to a landfill, the Kansas Pro Wrestling Association sent their styrofoam to the landfill that is WWE. That's noble.
Against this opponent, newcomer to the World Wrestling Empire, Mr. Brett Knight. Your opinions there, Ledge?
Brett Knight's an off-duty snowboarder, for sure.
Have heard some things, not necessarily good, any of them, but I have heard a few things about him.
Brett Knight looks like the kind of guy who would call his mustache a flavor saver. Can I say that?
Well, I know Panther is a fine champion, represents the great state of Kansas, does a good job.
I think the all right state of Kansas would be fine. I think if we're being realistic, it's all right.
Well, I said this while you were making your way back. I've got a new name for Panther. After watching him wrestle several matches, I've decided to call him Pussycat.
Well, you would, Devlin.
Devlin Blanchard's my least favorite type of person. I mean, I probably have lots of least favorite type of people, but that personality's up there. Where like they think that the not funny and unclever thing that they said is so good that they need to go back, they need to double dip back to it and say it again. It reminds me, one time I was on a vacation in Mexico with my wife at like an all-inclusive thing. There was a group staying like above us, like 4 or 5 floors above us at the resort, who were like, they're probably all like 35, like 40, like age range 35 to 40. And they were just acting like teenagers the whole time. It was fine, whatever. It's Mexico, man. Go crazy, do your thing. It's vacation. Go nuts. I was up early eating breakfast on our, like swim up or whatever, and I would hear them all talking to each other across the balconies. And they were every morning they would just talk about how crazy they got last night and how much they drank. And then there was this one guy who was very clearly like not that type of person, but was really trying to be. And he's like, yeah, I had so many drinks last night that I went ahead and called back home and got my AA meeting scheduled. Nobody said anything, and he was like, hey, did you hear me? Hey, did you hear me? I said I drank so much I got my AA meeting scheduled. And everyone was just like, oh, cool, man. That's a long way of saying that's what just happened here to Devlin. Whatever happened to that guy?
Or an elbow tie-up. Good move by the newcomer to the Empire, Brett Knight. Going to work on that shoulder and arm of Panther.
That's a good way to dislocate an arm, and Panther's got
devastating blows by Brett Knight. Really just winding back and just the theater, the physical theater of pro wrestling, really just winding back a good 1.5 to 2 inches and just softly looking like he's doing absolutely nothing to Panther, whose timing is off off on his selling because the blows are so bad. I love it. That's what we're here for. That's good, bad wrestling.
Go after the arm.
Panther able to reverse that Rick Slog. Now he's going to jerk the arm of Bret Knight around and drives him to the mat. Nice leg drop. Really going to the work on the shoulder there of the newcomer to the Empire.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Panther like stretching out Bret Knight for real. Is Panther our next one? Maybe I should be careful what I say. Panther might be like from Singapore Predator. He might be like he's a hooker, man. He's a real deal. No care about the technique of a body slam. Just like this is how you do it right. You just pick it up like a sack of flour, just like toss, just like drop it down. Perfect. Perfect, baby. This is TV, man. Listen, if the moves all looked slick and good, everybody would think it was fake if it looked too good. So you have to make it look like you don't really know how to do a body slam every once in a while. If somebody's just flipping through the channels and they see perfect body slam after perfect body slam, next, but they tune in and they see click.
Panther's quite a strong man. He's a big man. He's strong. There's a body slam on Bret Knight.
Well, that looked like shit. This must be real. I love the small dissertation that Panther gives Bret Knight as he takes him back and works him in the ropes. Now, let's pause here. We saw Panther give basically about a paragraph of information. So now we'll pause here and play a fun game of what move will he do? Now, one hint is, think it over now. One hint is Panther talked a lot before he sent Bret Knight off the ropes. What move or most likely combinations of moves will we see? My guess would be, because I did watch this, but I have no memory of this. My guess would be, you guys weigh in at home. Is it A, shoulder block, B, clothesline, C, clothesline, or D, miscommunication and they bump into each other? I gotta go with C. Listen, test taking strategy. If you don't know the answer, see your way out. See your way out, Bret Knight. Here we go.
All right, whip off the ropes. Good move. Follows it up in a big elbow to the chest.
That's why Panther's the champion, because he zags on him. Everybody think he's going to be out there zigging and zigging and zigging, and he's zagging on him. That's what I'm talking about, Panther. A back elbow? That wasn't even one of the 4 options. I underestimated him, and I overestimated myself, and you did too. We have a lot to learn. Panther, always thinking in that ring.
Both men trying to show a little strength with the other, and I think looks like Bret Knight may have raked the eyes there. Oh, and a big punch to the side of Panther.
Oh, no. What is happening? Bret Knight, Panther way oversells some sort of eye rake, and Bret Knight just bashes him in the ear. Oh, that's the Kansas heavyweight champion, brother. Lighten up. He's got TV tomorrow.
Off the ropes, coming at you.
Oh, misses with the arm bar.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Those ropes, those are like rolled up bed sheets for ropes. There is no bounce off of those ropes. No high spots, no high running spots tonight, boys. You better get it all done in the middle. Don't climb them. Don't climb them. You can climb those ropes, but once. And then nobody can climb them after that. That middle rope is just jiggling, baby. That rope is hanging on by a thread. If this isn't going down tonight, this ring's going down soon. This thing is not... Rings are actually strangely complex. Underneath, a lot of times in this type of ring, there'd be cross suspension cables, and that helps tighten those ropes. I would bet those are not tightened or they have snapped. So like this, we're on borrowed time. If this thing's not coming down tonight, it's coming down soon. That's the I got nothing, brother headlock, where you just put a headlock on someone and lay there and have a 1,000-yard stare off into the distance while you hope that just inspiration strikes you. So this was I think this is 1995. I wonder what year they invented talking with your opponent before the show about the performance you're going to put on together. 96, 97. These guys just missed it. I was joking before, but I'm pretty sure Bret Knight is actually wearing snowboarding boots. Snowboarding or rollerblades with the blades off. Those are not wrestling boots. I think those might be snowboard shoes.
making all this noise for Pussycat. Bret Knight with a low bridge.
That's something that doesn't exist in wrestling anymore. Just grandmas in the front row with grandma sweaters. That's adorable. How do we get that back? That's who I want to be wrestling for.
Bret Knight with a low bridge.
A little bit of a low blow. Referee Doug McCoy orders the match. Stop. That's it right there. There's a discussion going on to the ring. I think we've got a disqualification here.
So out of nowhere, we get like a seemingly accidental kick to the nuts, and Bret Knight is eliminated. Like, it feels like it wasn't supposed to happen. And then there's a pin after. Like, he just gets... So I don't know what's... Someone has to get control of the Empire. The Empire is on the loose, man.
We got a Leopard Man's going to take on the former WWE heavyweight champion TJ Steele. Fine champion, had to be gone from a match, lost his belt, was a little sick about that.
And Leopard Man, of course, in the history of the World Wrestling Empire, has never won a match in his tenure in the World Wrestling Empire.
Super fun to point out how much Leopard Man sucks right before he comes out to go against someone who just was stripped of the belt. You're the champion that really probably should still be the champion. Really great, really compelling TV to just mention, like, okay, here comes basically our uncrowned champion, and this guy, he can't beat anybody. This guy fucking sucks. He can't beat anybody. Basically our heavyweight champion going toe-to-toe with someone who can't even beat an egg. That's a joke that Devlin Blanchard would make, right?
Standing 5 foot 9 inches tall, weighing in at 245 pounds. You know him as Leopard Man. I
love the wide shot of the microphone-less ledge. It's hanging in the Louvre. It's the best. The little guy, just a little short boy standing there, no microphone, his little Sunday school suit. I love it. I love it. Ledge looks like when someone's getting remarried and like the stepson, the little toddler stepson is the ring bearer. That's what Ledge looks like right now. This little guy, his little rented tuxedo.
Schedule here. Leopard Man, who so far in the history of the World Wrestling Empire has never won a match.
His opponent this evening.
Maybe tonight.
Leopard Man sucks so bad and loses so much, he doesn't even get a full entrance. They announce him, he comes out, he talks to one person, and they're like, yeah. Anyway, the guy who's going to come out and beat him now.
From Kansas City, Kansas, TJ Steele!
This man lost his title to the Beast a short time ago because he was too scared to come to the rings of the World Wrestling Empire and face the man for the belt. So by rules governing titles and title holders in the World Wrestling Empire, if a champion fails to show up to defend his belt, he automatically loses it. And that's how TJ lost the belt there to the Beast. I don't know if he failed to show up out of fear or missed a plane flight or something.
Understand there were family problems, and TJ decided his family was more important than the belt. And I'm sure we'll see TJ back in contention for that belt pretty soon.
Oh, great. So TJ Steele had like a family illness or like a sick kid or something. They're like, well, no more belt. Sorry. That to me is evidence of, I would bet you anything that this whole like biome, right? Like this whole, like the roster, the people running this, all the this is obviously run by some of the talent. It feels like no one's like, there can't be a third party in charge of this who's not on camera. I refuse to believe it. But I would bet that this was the most toxic environment. I bet it was like, oh, well, he no-showed. Well, he's out, and I'm the champion now. I bet this is like, give a reference that's appropriately dated for this show. World Wrestling Empire had to have been like the Melrose Place of professional wrestling in the 90s.
Well, it was a time when I owed TJ a favor. When I had to take loan of his bodyguard, Goliath, who I noticed is very conspicuous in his absence tonight. So I don't absolutely dislike TJ. I just don't care for the way that he lost the belt.
We get little droplets of lore here. So apparently at some point in the past, Devlin Blanchard owes TJ Steele a favor because he borrowed his manager, bodyguard Goliath, who's been gone off somewhere. It's unraveling. It's unraveling bit by bit. That's intrigue. That's what a good author does, right? A good author doesn't start a book and say, here's all the backstory. Here's this. A good movie doesn't start with like, here's the main character being born. Here's everything that led up to this. And here's the important event. No, we start in media res. We start right in the middle at the climax of the action. And then we work backward and then we go forward and then we get more information from the past. I've always said this, but World Wrestling Empire, to give an allusion to something that would be relevant at the time, at the 90s, World Wrestling Empire was the Tarantino movie of professional wrestling. So we get into this weird, like, stop, he's already dead moment where Leopard Man just starts, like, he pulls out a foreign object where the camera and the audience can't really see, but then very clearly puts it back in his boot in front of the ref. The ref catches him instead of disqualifying because I guess that's not the finish. It's just we get this weird moment and then we're just right back at it. Leopard Man delivers on exactly what I would think a wrestler who looks like that would deliver.
Leopard Man over for the pin.
I mean, I have seen a lot of flat, awful, weird air all the way out of the balloon finishes before, but that might be top. Like, that was like weird. He was just kind of punching the guy a bunch. He may or may not have had a foreign object and then just kind of nonchalantly rolled over the heavyweight champion by all rights and just casually pinned him for a 3.
Beast, let me tell you something, buddy. I've gone up against better than you. I've taken it from Scott Summers. I can beat TJ Still on any given day. And you haven't got anything on me, buddy. I don't care who's got the title, any day, anywhere. I'm going to come for it, and I'm going to take it away.
Big mouth, Grandma.
Well, welcome back to the World Wrestling Empire. Right now, I think Prince Devlin Blanchard has a little bit more going on than what he needs to be concentrating on.
Great TV, buddy. Number one broadcaster in America. Awesome Eric against Tennessee Rebel. I'm wondering if we could work it out where somehow both of them lose or both of them get horrifically injured and have to stop wrestling forever. I mentioned last episode we were going to try to figure out if Eric was awesome by the end of the match. I don't think we ever officially discussed it because it was pretty obvious that Eric Awesome wasn't.
From Nashville, Tennessee, the Tennessee Rebel!
Tennessee Rebel. Being from Memphis, Tennessee myself, I take a consensus of the people of the City of Kings in Memphis, Tennessee every time I'm there. And the last time I was there, the people of Memphis told me they were embarrassed to even claim this man to be from Tennessee, the state which contains the City of Kings and the hometown of Devlin Blanchard.
So in Devlin Blanchard's fantasy here, he went back to Memphis, Tennessee, and everyone was stopping him to say that they wanted to disown Tennessee Rebel. I mean, even for like a bad guy wrestler lie, that's pretty ridiculous. The fact that anyone in Memphis was coming up to Devlin Blanchard and saying anything besides like, excuse me, sir, you have to leave, or like, you can't sleep there, or like, hey, put that down, sir, you haven't paid yet. I don't believe it.
We've got signs of action going on into the ring. Tennessee Rebel puts a nice shoulder into Eric Awesome after a quick whip off the rope.
I mean, everyone involved in this one just sucks. I promise you, I'm not trying to be too negative, but like, I would, if this ring's gonna collapse, if it was during this match, I'd be happy. I don't want anything to happen to Flamin' Raymond. You know, I think the Lord would take care of him. For the times in life when there were only one set of footsteps in the sand, that's when the Lord was carrying Flamin' Raymond. So I'm not worried about him, but yeah, I would sacrifice the referee too. I would sacrifice Doug McCoy to be rid of Eric Awesome and Tennessee Rebel. That'd be fine by me. I could sleep like a baby knowing that happened. I would sleep better actually if the ring fell down and they could never wrestle again.
Admit it. You don't like Flamin' Raymond. You don't like Eric Awesome, and you like what you just saw happen in the ring. Admit it.
You're right about one thing. I don't like Flamin' Raymond. You know, I think the guy brings a bad name to the World Wrestling Empire. Him and Silverado have just about ruined this whole organization at times.
Now we're getting into the lore. This is what we're here for, though, okay? We get the backstory of what's going on. And it doesn't make much more sense than what's happening now, but it is interesting. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's just listen to it, and then we'll try to unpack it. It's the most amount of information that we've gotten from what we haven't seen so far.
You know,
You will too.
If you'll think back into WWE history, you'll know that, unfortunately, I am the reason it has come to this, and I regret ever selling anything about the Clan and the Claw to that, whatever you want to call him, Abaraj Niche. It's his money that backs and drives this machine, and I think ultimately I have to accept responsibility for causing the problems that face the WWE today, because if I hadn't sold my interest in Clan of the Claw to Abaraj Niche, Silverado, and Flamin' Raymond wouldn't have the money to wreak havoc in the Empire today.
Okay. What? So Ledge used to be like a manager or something, and he owned a percentage of a group called the Clan of the Claw, which, first of all, rough name, boys. Rough sounds like something else, and it's a little too close, a little too alliterative to another clan, and I would wonder if that's on purpose. I would bet that it is. But he sold his interest, his percentage. He sold his interest to this mysterious benefactor named Abaraj Niche. And all of this money got injected through Abaraj Niche. All this money got injected into the Empire. And that's what made Flamin' Raymond into a bad guy. That's what made Silverado into a bad guy. That's what made Devlin Blanchard into a bad guy. Because all these guys used to be good guys. And then money. Abaraj Niche's money, but we now know, which we never heard that before. It sounds like a Batman villain to me. But now we know that Ledge was the catalyst for all this tumult, all this avarice, all the problems that come from injecting all this money into professional sports. Ledge used to be a bad guy? Mr. Fair and Even? Mr. Call it down the middle, Mr. I'm worried about you because you're talking too much about. He's been to the dark side and he's come out the other end. And it's all his fault. This is Shakespearean.
So in other words, what you're saying is it's your own fault that you have to sit next to me.
I guess so. Unfortunately, it is my fault I have to sit next to you.
You made your bed, lay in it.
You know, money talks, and I liked a lot of money at that time, and Abba, he had a whole suitcase full. I was only more than happy to accept it.
I liked a lot of money at that time. So Ledge is a reformed money liker. No more. No more does he enjoy any of the monetary aspects of life. This is wild. This is a whole new wrinkle. Ledge became a good guy. Like, Ledge was down and dirty with the bad guy wrestlers, you know, like all about the money, got a suitcase full of money from Abaraj Niche and saw what was happening around him and hated it and tried and reformed himself, and now wants the rest of the WWE, like the place that he ruined with his own greed, he wants to save. This is the greatest storyline in wrestling history.
I want to say, just for a moment here to interrupt the action, I want to say a special hello to Abaraj Niche, who suffered a severe injury outside of the business and is in some pretty bad shape. And Abba, we love you, we miss you, but we sure still love that money.
Like, how could I possibly care about what's happening in the ring after this bombshell that was just dropped on us? Ledge sits there week after week, over and over and over, and hosts this show and leads this show and sits through the mess that it's become. All the bad actors around him, not just bad actors like the bad performers, but like the people with malicious intent, the money flowing through the empire. And he has to know, he has to carry on, he has to smile in front of the camera, pulling his triple duty, and just get through it knowing that he caused it all.
Tennessee Rebel had Eric in the corner. Where is he now when Rebel's using those very obvious clothes?
What's the whole, like, stumble into the corner and like headbutt the turnbuckle like you couldn't help it. Hey, stop stealing my gimmick, brother.
Has a complaint for the referee about the slowness of the count. Tennessee Rebel comes back with a whip off the rope, follows it up with a big shoulder.
What is this?
Oh, nice move by Tennessee Rebel.
Let's call Domino's. They cost too much. Let's call Little Caesar. They don't deliver. Let's call Mazio's. They take too long. Let's call Pizza Hut. No way!
Guys, need a suggestion? Call Luigi's Pizza where you get 1, 2, 3 pizzas for the price of 1 with free delivery. Don't just stand there. Call and get 1, 2, 3 pizzas for the price of 1. Hey, with all those pizzas, you can even call up the girls and you might just score a
touchdown.
Luigi's Pizza. Look us up in the yellow pages.
A former World Wrestling Empire heavyweight champion, Scott Summers!
Ladies and gentlemen, the librarian of the World Wrestling Empire. This man does not look like a professional wrestler. He looks like a librarian. He's old, he's boring, he's washed up, and he looks like a librarian. He can...
I don't think that Scott Summers looks like a librarian. I think if you were going to say anything, you would say that maybe he looks like a softball coach or something. Scott Summers looks like the softball coach who screams at the boys on the team like a little too much, but then after he loses it, tries to make it seem like he was joking. You know, like, hey, you know, but like it was real. Scott Summers looks like a boring guy. Roasted. Beast really pushing that leather strap to the limits, pushing those metal snaps on that strap to the very, very limits, man. Beast was awarded the championship, and that belt, if that belt flies off of him, it's gonna ricochet out the side of the wall like flubber.
Eric was robbed. You know, the next time I see Dog McCoy make a call like that, I'm personally going to get up from this table, I'm going to go up to the ring, and I'm going to slap the taste out of that little punk's mouth. And, you know, I ain't got to worry about money and fines and suspensions. I'm not a wrestler. I gave up my manager's license. They can't suspend me. And money's no problem for me now.
Well, it must be nice that money is not a problem. I know in the effort to support truth, justice, and honesty, money seems to be a day-to-day struggle for me. But hey, if that's what it takes to bring good, fair competition to people, that's what I'm willing to do. And there's the bell.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. So first of all, Devlin Blanchard's claiming to be so rich that he could get up and physically batter Doug McCoy, who he is now taken to calling Dog McCoy, and it wouldn't be a problem. Like how much money, that's a lot of money if you could just beat someone up and not have to worry about it. But then we also find out that Ledge not only is a reformed former money liker, now he struggles day to day. So Ledge, in the interest of truth and justice, has truly given up his lifestyle completely and is now living the pauper's life for the good of the empire. If we're talking about empires, you know, if only Caesar himself had been as bold and as selfless as the Ledge, we'd all be speaking Roman right now. God, Beast really focusing on the kidney. He's really working the kidneys over this one. Good Lord. Beast is, I would say, and this is really saying something, I would say if I had to pick the least trained wrestler in the World Wrestling Empire, even though he's the champion, oddly enough, it's Beast. Like, this guy is straight up dangerous. He is hitting people with weird parts of his body in the worst possible places you could be hitting people as a pro wrestler. Lower back, kidneys, just teeing off like that. Not a great plan.
I may be a little guy, and I may not be a professional wrestler, but I got one thing that Scott Summers and people like him ain't got. Fire, baby. Fire.
I feel like after Devlin Blanchard comes back from the bathroom, he's got like a lot of extra fire that he didn't have when he went in. It's weird.
Beast has been working on his lower back. Oh! Scott Summers able to reach in, pulls the legs out from underneath the Beast. Looks, oh! Nice move.
It was not a nice move, man. It doesn't. I'm on a roller coaster of emotions because it's almost like it's hilariously adorable that Scott Summers is just wrenching around on Beast's leg and Beast is genuinely getting yanked around and doesn't know what to do. But then that little flip-a-doodle, what am I supposed to do with that, man? Like, what do we... What?
Oh, and all of a sudden we've got Annihilator, Silverado, and Viper are wandering to ringside to check out the actions. Got to make you wonder what's going on.
Under normal circumstances, I would think this would be a good sign and good news, but after the interview we just saw with Annihilator, I don't know if I like the look of this.
So we have a real story developing here, all right? The Empire, you might have thought it was been falling apart this whole time, but it's really falling apart now. So Annihilator wants his belt back because apparently in the WWE, everyone is like a 9-time champion. I don't know what the deal is. I guess because if guys can't show up for a show, they just get their belt taken away by and awarded to whoever's standing around. But Annihilator wants a shot at the belt, and he's aligned with Beast and Renegade. Which Renegade is a weird story too, because he was apparently attacked by someone and hospitalized. That was like weeks ago, so I don't know what's going on. But I do know that the new drama is Annihilator doesn't seem to be as aligned with Beast as we thought, because he doesn't even care. He wants the championship from whoever has it and seemingly thinks that he can just come out and take it now, I guess.
Beast to take out Scott Summers. Nice move by Scott Summers. Oh, and it bounces off the Beast that time. Oh, nice move.
Okay. I hate this, but that was kind of awesome because I didn't expect it. And also, listen, it was just awesome. I don't know. It was cool. What do you want from me? There's too many cool moves in this episode.
Scott Summers is in a lot of trouble at this point. Referee Doug McCoy ordering the action to stop, and Beast has about got Scott Summers out cold.
Beast is definitely your friend's stepdad that you don't want to get stuck talking to, right? Like you're going to your friend's house in middle school, and you have to walk through the living room to get to your friend's bedroom, and you're just really hoping that your friend's stepdad, Beast, doesn't stop you to ask you questions or to talk about Dale Earnhardt. Beast with we've been trying to get checked into this hotel room for an hour and a half, and we finally did splash onto the bed.
Those legs now. Looks like he's working in the figure 4 to
Oh
me.
no, that's his finishing hold.
Goes in, he locks in the figure 4. Here comes Annihilator into the ring. Oh, and the referee orders the bell rung. The interview I saw, I can believe these big guys are going to get into it.
This can't be heaven, but I understand it. Annihilator cost Beast the match.
It was just a matter of time. It was just a matter of time that we had the betrayal. We knew that it was going to happen. Annihilator turning his back on Beast. Where is Viper? Where were his allegiances lie? Silverado appears to be with... Oh, wait a minute. Silverado appears to be on the side of Annihilator. Viper doesn't know what to do. Scott Summers coming to the rescue of Beast now with a chair. None of this makes any sense anymore. This world's upside down. Ledge started all of this. Ledge did this. There's too much money. All money is causing all this problem. Money. There's too much of it. It's been on the news for a long time. There's way too much money in World Wrestling Empire. It's ruining the sport.
No, Beast! No!
Oh, it looks like the Beast has just changed camps. Unreal!
And just like that, you shake hands with Scott Summers in the WWE, and you're automatically a good guy. Automatically. It's the Midas touch. It's the Midas touch. If the Midas touch, instead of being gold, was like if someone didn't wipe properly and then shook your hand. Alliances are falling apart. Lore is unraveling before our very eyes, and we cannot wait to see what happens next week. Now that's what I call wrestling.